dead in an age of strife. From the ashes, the tangent grows as kings are crowned, a new beginning flows. Disgusting, tangent kings, a new age, as stories sing. Disgusting, glows and grows, tangent kings reforged in stars. Oh, reforged in stars. Yeah, yeah. After many years left to die, rediscovered for it to rise. The network finds a gem to forge anew, to shine again. Once a dragon rose, as the slayer froze, all the tangents close. Once the dragon slows, as the slayer pose, tangents reforged in prose. Disgusting, tangent kings, a new age, a story sing. Disgusting, glows and grows, tangent kings reforged in
دنیا شده آماده یک جنگ جهانی. دنیا شده آماده یک جنگ جهانی. فریاد شیاطین جهان خان یهودی بیرون زده از حنجره شاه سعودی.
Chronicle is the greatest. Try not to be crowned. Won't be the one you make it. No, I tied you every time. I'm gonna have you on again. It's the greatest. It's the greatest. Have you on again. It's the greatest. It's the greatest.
Fucking yes, I fucking love. Hello, we're back here, motherfuckers. Episode fucking 25. We're a quarter of a century there, and I just want to say something. If we get to 100 episodes, I'll fucking do the whole intro in my home, and I'll record it. And it's not going to be anything artificial. But yeah, thank you. I'm probably one of the proudest motherfuckers right now because I made this exact intro in 20 minutes. That's why I was late. I was like, yes, we're gonna do this because, ladies and gents, we're here on the Tangent Kings, discussing Tangent Kings Monday show, back after a week of hiatus on this platform, and it moved to Rumble for a bit because I had to take a week off. But we're back, and we're back in some interesting times. We're back in some very interesting times. As Terry Pratchett and a very ancient Chinese curse said, I wish for you to live in interesting times. Well, somebody certainly cursed the entire planet, apparently, because I'll tell you one thing. There is nothing I would like than to Tangent Kings to return to talking about celebrities, games, pop culture, just discussing things that we do in our lives as YouTubers and stuff like that. However, we're also reality-based. It's kind of in a legacy name. And we need to not ignore reality, because if we ignore reality, just like we ignored the gaming reality for many years, evil takes over and destroys everything we hold dear. So we should not ignore reality, and we should talk about it. And we
You
should
took a week
address
off and all hell broke loose. You realize that,
basically,
right?
yes, that was a wake up call. That was a wake up call. I'm never sleeping again. I would just be drinking coffee, Red Bulls, and snorting coffee beans for the rest of my very short life.
Oh, jeez.
Now you
Anyways,
got the
my name
mindset of
is
a content creator.
Exactly. I'll just be a proper content creator for the week that I have left to live. Anyways, my name is Helzo. Welcome to Tangent King Discuss Thing. I just missed my intro. And welcome to the entire panel. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you for agreeing to be here. Inshallah to Ayatollah Digni, who is here to represent the pleas and the religious beliefs of the Eastern folk of the planet. How are you, my good sir? Or my good supreme leader that still hasn't been bombed?
Well, salam alaikum to everyone on today's show. I hope you're all doing well. For the first time in over 50 years, America has decided to pick a fight with a country that can fight back. So isn't that interesting, folks? And yes, you killed our supreme leader who had terminal cancer and didn't have that much long to live. But you literally made a martyr of a man who should have gone to hospice 2 weeks
Correction.
ago.
We spawn camped the other one, too.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, he died like what, hours later? Yeah, that kind of point.
Yeah, well, yeah, that did happen.
Look, guys, it's a good job Ayatollah Digni is here, folks, okay? Because this is one Ayatollah you can't bomb out of existence, okay? It's great to be here. I hope you're all doing well. And yes, I did invade the intro to this show. It's a good job Helzo didn't play the entire thing because the Shia chant,
I heard
if you translate it, it is very much against YouTube's rules. So it was a good job.
Well, I mean, part of
Yeah,
the shit
we
was
needed
there.
some orange power in that intro.
Yes, it talked a lot about the great Satan and how Saudi Arabia sucks penis and all that sort of stuff.
Oh,
But
boy.
here's to a great show. And
And Sunu created it.
well, I feel sorry for Helzo because Bulgaria is going to get shot with missiles
Yep.
before long.
Oh,
How about you,
boy.
Roger?
That is only if they can find us on a map. Because when
Wow.
America was bombing Bulgaria in the end of the Second World War, there is a meme that the American general was putting his thumb between Romania and Greece. Where the hell is that Bulgaria? Those pesky little noisy people. Sir, remove your thumb.
Well, speaking of people who swallow missiles, Roger, how have you been?
I mean, I could be better. Trying to fight my way through this stick that I have, but I'm somebody who is dedicated to the cause, even though I have no idea what the hell stuff is being talked about. But I will say one thing about that intro was that getting to the Trump stuff that was shown there. What if one Jeremy Griggs from Geeks and Gamers saw that, he'd be furiously masturbating at that moment.
Yes, you would.
Oh,
Oh,
boy.
fingers crossed he watches the VOD.
Well,
It's very disturbing, folks. It's very disturbing, and we're going to get more into it as time goes on in today's show. But we're going to catch up with the panel, then we're going to catch up with the chat. So, Galaxy Red, how you doing?
Doing okay. It's snowing right now outside.
No, that's nuclear fallout. That's
Yeah,
not snow.
that's not snow.
Yeah, no, it is snow. Anyway.
Yeah,
fixed your
supposed to
floor
get,
only
it's
to
supposed get,
potentially get
ice and
bombed.
stuff like tomorrow too. So hope it's hope we're okay here. But anyway, yeah. I've had a good weekend, I guess, and so yeah. Other than what's happening around the world, I've been fine here. So
No
Well,
more
you've had a
listening
fun
devices
week.
under the floorboards.
Everything
Yeah,
is
well-
just amazing. Everything's fine and dandy, folks.
Yeah,
Smile and
you've all had a better weekend than me. I've been dodging missiles. Okay.
Yeah.
At
I've
least
been
you managed to
doing this
dodge
yeah.
them. Otherwise, we'd have
Yeah, I
to go
know.
to another Ayatollah.
Oh,
I
no.
know. Well, it's amazing how a country full of mountains doesn't have enough good bunkers. It's very weird. Thankfully, I bought them all.
Those are the brothels.
I mean, would the
Yeah,
bunkers
but-
really help?
They do.
I mean,
They really
I don't
do.
know. I don't know.
The spying,
Especially if
doesn't
they know where
help.
they are. Especially if they know where they are. You know.
Well, thinking about it, Jace, how have you been?
Trying to prevent myself getting sick. My mother is sick, which means she will spread her illness to me eventually. So I am just basically
You're
throwing everything but
welcome.
the kitchen.
You try to stay as far away from her as possible, right?
Yeah,
So
well,
she's
the
better.
problem is that her germs just exist in the space, just like everything else. It's like a curse. So I'm throwing everything but the kitchen sink at my own body to try to keep myself from getting sick because I barely had any sleep last night. As a result, I started to feel like some congestion, and that would not be good for me. I don't want to die. You know, but I probably will for Israel at this point, unfortunately. That being said, wouldn't it be ironic that everybody gets nuked, but I die of a fucking cold? Hopefully not. But
A
you know,
nuclear
either way.
cold?
Yeah, look, if you were a germ and you went into my body, you'd leave just because the way that I treat myself would make you want to frickin' leave. So there's that.
Well, it does get pretty cold during a nuclear winter, so there you go, folks. How about you, Triton? How have you been? Have you murdered your family members yet? Well, yes,
I think he's in the middle of it.
I love Iran and I hate America. Well, thank you for that, Lord Triton. We appreciate you.
Oh, I'm here.
It's great-
Sorry about that. I'm doing good.
Almost
Sorry, I was
missed it.
dealing with something right now, but no, I've been doing good. I just got home from a job interview, so I'm able to get a
Good.
part-time job, so
Nice.
that's good.
Nice.
Oh,
I just
well.
hope I don't get blown up by missiles before then.
Well done, Triton, on getting a part-time job. I am now going to look for the nearest shotgun because if you can get employment, I am truly fucked. So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, let's catch up with the chat. It's great to see Saint Hugo. It's great to see Helzo. It's great to see Cracker Tom. You know, that sounds very offensive
I
to
think it
white
is.
people. Cracker Tom.
Tom.
My goodness, you're offensive. Call yourself something offensive to the black community. It would help if you had Tourette's. That's another one of our topics if we get time to talk about it. Great to see Cancel This Podcast. Great to see 360 with lots of words and letters because that looks like someone who would attack a foreign country. Great to see Roger, who has changed his YouTube and X name to something completely weird.
It's supposed to be a One Piece reference.
I know. I can't
Yeah.
wait until One Piece is so old that we'll call you boomers for knowing it. Great to see Galaxy Red, and it's great to see. It's great to see my American equivalent, which is technically my Israeli equivalent, Digny. You see, folks, I have many variants, so no matter which side wins, I win.
Well,
Haha.
That
Well,
cloning technology really
I
has
have
gone
a
far.
just for Roger. I do have an excellent One Piece reference that has to do with today's topic, and I'm just going to share that with you guys right now.
Oh no. Is that yeah?
Yeah, that's the thing.
This is
What
amazing.
do you say
help.
about Israel?
I'm
Oh,
sorry to
shit.
say, but Laura Loomer is a walking, talking biological weapon. Okay.
Look. We are expecting the Antichrist to be born soon out of 400
Right.
potential fathers.
So a
Bonnie
mix
Blue.
of Larry
So she
Loomer
will bring
and Bonnie
about
Blue.
the end of days.
Oh boy.
Larry Loomer and Bonnie Blue's child is the Antichrist. So on that, speaking of the Antichrist, ladies and gentlemen, our first topic, it would surprise you to know, is the biggest topic since 2003. And what is that topic? The topic is the title, Another Endless War as America Attacks Iran. You know, folks, things really do come full circle. Because there was a time in the Middle East when America's only friend was Persia. And now America's only enemy in the Middle East is Persia, better known as Iran. Recently, an escalation of events led to both countries attacking one another, and the Iranians, as I cosplay as their leader, who recently died, not of cancer, but of getting firebombed to oblivion, the Iranians decided to just go fucking mental and attack everyone. You have a military base on their border that was American. Bang, 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 bang. Iraq, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Bahrain. I don't think they targeted the ones in Afghanistan or Turkmenistan, but I could be wrong in that assessment.
Because they're too busy attacking Pakistan.
Yes, it's strange that. But the odd thing about this situation is, folks, let's cover the basics. We were promised no new wars. And this is probably going to be America's biggest war since Vietnam, especially if ground troops are deployed. Let's use Iraq and Afghanistan as examples. Iraq, there was an invasion force of 100,000 US troops and more than enough material to occupy Iraq for years. We know that. Iran is double the size. It's got double the population practically, and it's not all flat, it's all fucking mountains. So you're going to need at least 300,000 American troops, bare minimum, and a heck of a lot of manpower in terms of logistics, land, air, and sea, to control 90 million people. In fact, a better estimation would be 500,000 troops. And the last time America deployed that many service personnel in a conflict, it was Vietnam. What did America have during Vietnam? The draft. So get ready, guys. You are literally going to be drafted to fight a war that is not in your interests.
Well, to be honest, by the way, the first country to attack Iran was Israel, and USA followed, which was interesting to me, because I do love the term preemptive strike. And by the way, I could kind of, like, if you listen to all the reasons that this is happening, you can kind of understand that having nuclear weapons in the hands of people who kind of don't give a fuck about anyone else when it comes to being talked to by their god is a bit weird, and it's not that it's not that preferable. However, it always begs me the question: okay, so you're attacking this kind of country. You have a borderline slave country called North Korea, which is proven to have done much more atrocities to its people and to other people as well.
Yeah.
Nobody's attacking them. I'm not saying anyone should attack anyone. However, you know, the standards are a little bit blurred in my opinion. Every time that it comes to having these wars, these special military operations, these what was it called with Venezuela?
That special military operation.
Yeah, that actual special military operation. Yes, you know, it's really, really weird to me how you know, pick and choose everything is. It's like being evangelist or like someone overly religious of every religion, just cherry picking from your holy book.
No, it's perfectly understandable, and I want folks to understand this, especially to my American friends, as I cosplay as your second biggest enemy on Earth. The first biggest is your greatest ally, of course. Okay, let's face facts. The last time the United States fought a war against a country that could fight back, it lost. And that was the Vietnam War, where close to 70,000 American service personnel lost their lives. Hundreds of thousands of American service personnel were fatally wounded. And who did the American government blame for that failure? The fucking troopers, which is why Vietnam War vets for decades were treated like subhumans by the American population. Let's
But hey,
face
got you the Rambo movies.
Yes, it did lead to the Rambo movies. But let's face it, guys. America, in recent years, I say decades rather than years, has only fought wars against nations and peoples that can't really fight back. Venezuela is a great example of it. It's easy to kidnap a foreign leader when everyone around him was like, yeah, go and take him. Makes our job a bit easier. It's easy to fight a war against an enemy that won't fight back. Iran's a completely different story. This is a regime that was literally born in bloodshed, spent the first decade of its existence in permanent conflict with Iraq, and has been on a war footing since the revolution that created it. So for President Trump to make this decision, well, best of luck to him. The only way he's going to win it now is to commit a force the likes of which modern America has never deployed before. And I don't think Americans are going to like it when their sons and daughters are dragged to the front lines to fight a country of 90 million people and fight a country that doesn't have barely any flat land. So you're going to get some exercise, Roger, when you go up and down.
Well,
the
one
hill.
American will like it. His name is Lindsey Graham, Senator, South Carolina.
Oh dear, what an awful, awful person.
Why don't we send him to the front lines?
I wish. Actually, I would
Actually,
pay to see
I would
that.
extend that. Why don't we send just our presidents, prime ministers to fight on one-on-one boxing match with the whole world looking?
But it's very simple, because an 86-year-old cancer patient Ayatollah would beat the orange bastard.
Look. Congratulations to the new Ayatollah, Marco Rubio.
You're not taking my job. You're a woman because you don't have a beard, because that's how Islam works.
Someone scribble a beard on him. The thing is that, look, we are reaching as a world a
Yes.
boiling point. Like nothing has been going well since 2016 or even earlier than that. Nothing. Look, one simple fact. We are currently, it is March 2nd. Up until today, only what was it? Less than 90 days in 2026. We have had more tragic, violent, epic consequence and global destructive potentially events since the entirety of last year. This is barely 3 months in, and this is just starting to brew now. This is like you have just started the car right now. It's gonna get hotter, it's gonna get more active, it's gonna get more powerful. And the thing is that one of the worst things that has happened, and potentially this is what's going to bring about the escalation into Europe, into Eastern Asia and stuff like that, is that Iran just decided to jizz rockets everywhere. They didn't they didn't exactly do a target. What they did was target all the US bases in every single of these countries. However, and this is something that I can actually share now. Just
by all means, Elza. Yeah, because I think a visual perspective is very important when it comes to this situation.
So this is from yesterday, by the way, but you're just gonna see how it's going. This is from Drama Alert. Look, this is footage on the ground in Jerusalem.
Oh my God!
Why am I showing Jerusalem? Because they have the fucking Iron Dome. If you don't know what the Iron Dome is, it's probably one of the best air defenses in the world, in the entire fucking world. Check out.
Oh my God! My people are attacking the American Capitol.
Oh boy!
Oh no! Oh no! This is horrible. My neighbor lived there.
No way! No way!
Oh boy!
No way! Oh my
Good
God!
Lord!
Oh my God! Oh, holy fuck! Oh my God! Oh my God!
Do you really want to be on top of a
my
building
God.
while missiles are going off, taking footage of it? You might be next.
They don't. You're either there or you're in the bunkers.
Yep.
Well, let's put it this way, guys. You're fighting an enemy. Most Westerners, and I count Israelis in that cadre as well. Most Westerners, and I want to lay the groundwork, despite the fact that I'm dressed up as the enemy, Sergeant Slaughter style. Most Western countries haven't fought a war where the other side can actually stand a chance of winning for 50 years. For America, of course, it was Vietnam. For Israel, it was the Yom Kippur War when Egypt and Syria allied together against Israel. And look what happened. Egypt is now being bribed to essentially be nice to Israel forever by the Americans. So Roger, Galaxy, Jace, and Triton's taxpayer money goes to bribe Egypt to be nice to Israel, while Syria is blown to bits and is led by a former ISIS leader.
And it also goes to Jordan too, because Jordan's also on that same boat with Egypt about being nice to Israel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let me just show you something else.
Well, when half of your country is Palestinian and you are not, you're in a difficult. Oh, look, it's my country's flag.
Mm.
This is again on Jerusalem, but from later.
There's there's a lot of moving parts on this, and there's a lot of implications that are going to affect people all across the board, man.
Oh yeah.
One of the other things that nobody is talking about is that Trump basically now under the direction of Benjamin Netanyahu attacked Iran during the holy month of Ramadan. We established that it was Ramadan last week. Mustafa was here with us on the reality based on Rumble. All right, and it's Ramadan. Now, what do you think that's going to do to other people who are radically Muslim across the country? Because this man shot up a club, I believe, in Texas, in Austin, Texas, and look at his shirt. What does that shirt say?
Property of Allah.
Of Allah.
Mhm.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Under that sweatshirt, he had an Iranian flag shirt. So what's going to happen now is a lot of these people that we don't know where they are, we don't know who they are, we don't know what they're about, are going to start domestically attacking innocent people in America.
Yep.
Possibly also this is going to have repercussions for the UK, where there is at this point, there's a very large Muslim population in the UK.
Yep. And they're all radicalized.
Yeah, and every Ramadan there's somebody crashing a truck into like a bunch of innocent people or something like that in the UK. So what you've done is you've now provoked these people, and we're going to see an escalation in violent attacks domestically. And even just now, apparently, Pete Hegseth was asked about this and basically did the Lord Farquaad. Some of you will die, but that's just how it's going to go, kind of thing, which is not really. Yeah, it's not a good answer from any of your leaders. Trump himself has already said, "Oh, more troops are going to go there, and people are going to die," and that's just how it is. He verbatim said it that way, and that's not something.
We have to also consider, as I dress up as the Ayatollah of Iran, that Iran and Iraq, but Iraq is a bit more complicated. Iran is the only country in the world, apart from Iraq, which is another one, that is a majority Shia Muslim country. Now, the vast majority of Muslims are Sunnis. Classic example would be the Saudi Arabians, right? It wasn't Iranians that caused 9/11, it was Saudi Arabians, but for some reason we attacked Iraq and Afghanistan. That doesn't really make quite a lot of sense, does it? But we need to understand that we are dealing with a group of people who are fanatical in wanting to maintain their power and influence. And if you want to declare war and destroy these types of people, you either do it completely or you don't do it alone, or at all, rather, never mind alone. Right? This is Iraq plus Afghanistan. Put those two conflicts together, it's the worst of both worlds, even if a military operation is successful. Even if you want to defang a nation of 90 plus million people with all of the resources at their disposal, It's going to be a nightmare.
And not just that, but there's some people saying, but they killed the Ayatollah. That means we already successful. It's like, now they planned for that. They pre-planned the Ayatollah dying.
They killed the cancer patients. They
They
killed
killed
the
a cancer patient that already planned out when he was going to die.
Yeah, and the worst thing about having someone like that governing you is having no one governing you strongly while you're getting bombed. That means that the most radical and loud person ever is going, and practical and up to do stuff directly person is going to take charge.
Yeah.
One thing that I wanna mention before we continue, and because we touched upon the subject on other countries having Muslims that will be. Like sadly, a lot of them probably are not like radicalized, especially the older generations. Probably some of them don't want any of this, but there are a lot of them, especially from 2013, that have proven that they do not want to integrate and that they want Sharia law and that they want.
Yeah, but they're not the kind of Muslims we're attacking in Iran. This is the thing we need to understand.
No, but what do you think is gonna happen when this Iran thing ends? They're gonna move to other countries.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They're gonna move to other countries
of,
because they want the territory, they want the resources, they want the oil, they want everything, and they don't want people in the way. You know.
Well, we just need to understand the historical perspective here. Iran had a democracy. America got rid of that democracy by giving a king too much power. The people rose up, communists and Muslims, okay? Then they took over Iran. The Muslims got rid of the communists because they served their purpose. And now Iran, to this day, is a religious order of Shia Muslims who despise Sunni Islam. That's why Saudi Arabia's biggest enemy is Iran. Because although they are Muslims, they're a different type. And we know with Christianity, right? Catholics and Protestants fucking hate each other over the Reformation. Now, it's a very similar situation with the Muslims, but with a different kind of context. Understand this. We have never fought a religious order in the modern world before. In the past, every country was a bloody religious order or a monarchy, because that's how the Christian world worked. But we have no idea how to deal with a country that rules by a religious order. It would be like declaring war on the Vatican, which had taken over Italy, for example. It's such an archaic concept for Westerners to get across, because we got over that hundreds of years ago, before America was even a thing.
Also, you have people who just don't understand any ethical form of, even like the weird thing, the ethical form of inflicting violence or conducting war. These people basically explode themselves. And one of the things that I wanted to touch upon about is potential sleeper cells. By the way,
yeah. Well, speaking of people blowing themselves up, Roger has blown himself up because he's ill.
Oh boy.
You see, folks. You see,
Roger. He was a sleeper agent.
Roger, to get out of the draft, had sex with Dash Attack, and as a result, got what was it called again? Galaxy strep throat or something? I don't remember what it was called, but he got something wrong with his throat.
Oh, it wasn't just strep throat, but he said something else there. But
which is why being gay is wrong. Consult the Quran for more information.
You know what I do have to say, and I'm sure Triton could attest to this. One of I think the biggest problems I saw somebody bring up is that Trump cares about his approval rating when it comes to ICE in Minnesota. He cares about his approval rating on things that, he pulls out of things that affect us domestically. But then he doesn't care about the approval rating when it comes to bombing another country. And that's sort of a big problem here. And of course, the consequence is that it's not America first, because we're going to pay higher gas prices as a result of this. All the gas gains that we got from Venezuela are now evaporated because, one, they used all their oil to fund this thing over there and gave all our oil to Israel. And two, now you're sort of causing problems in an area that also controls 30% of the world's oil.
Yep.
And you not to mention liquid gas, that basically the biggest refinery for liquid gas has currently halted operations, which literally transports and provides gas for probably 3 continents.
Why is it Trump can bomb a country without congressional approval, but he can't pass voter ID laws without congressional approval? That's a problem.
It is a big problem. It is a big problem. We see this situation, and it's not a good situation. We're going to get into.
Well, you know why that is? It's
endless
because most of
war.
Congress is occupied by Israel as well.
Exactly.
The only one that's the only ones that are really standing up to it is Thomas Massey and Ro Khanna, and that's it. That's the only ones I've seen screaming about Trump bombing Iran without congressional approval. The others have been just silent.
Exactly.
Especially the pro-Trump ones.
Like I said, Triton, it's bad when Jeb Bush looks at what Trump's doing and says, I agree with that. The guy who Trump ran about destroying in 2016 is now in agreement with everything he does. That's sus.
Yes.
That is really sus. But
But
it's
let's
even
just
more
say more.
sus that he made Marco Rubio, a guy that he called a puppet, his Secretary of State.
Yes.
Little Marco, little foam party Marco, who he just destroyed in the 2016 election.
Let's just go. By the way, who do you think is paying the price?
How many changes? Lindsey Graham, because he has to buy a new pair of underwear every time a missile hits, because he ejaculates in them.
Oh yeah, they become crusty very quickly.
What a lovely place. Very stormy tonight. Oh, what's that? Oh, lightning strike.
That's 9,999 damage in real life.
I wonder what the weather forecast is like in Israel.
I'll be right back, y'all. I gotta hit the restroom for a second.
Yeah, that's all right. But could you guys imagine, right, watching Israeli weather reports and they report, oh, well, missile strike at 5 o'clock. Go to the
They
bunker
probably
at
do.
6 o'clock.
They probably do.
Hey, people need to understand that Israel is a bitterly divided country. Half the country wants to fight its adversaries. The other half just wants to live in bloody peace. And from an Iranian perspective, since I am dressed as the Ayatollah, from the Iranian perspective, America is Israel, Israel is America. So attacking Israel means attacking America. That's how they see it, right? And that is why you're seeing all of these attacks on Israel, quite frankly.
It's not
And
just
I
how
think
they
that-
see it. That's how Trump literally made it seem. Trump literally, like, if you attack Israel, Trump takes it as you attacking America. That's why they think that.
Yeah, that's why the so-called theory that America is Israel and Israel is America, it's no longer a theory anymore, right? Quite frankly. Sorry to bring this up, but why are we calling it Israel and America when we should either just call it all Israel or all of it America? I prefer to just call it all America, right? Because America has more people, it's got a bigger economy, it's got a bigger military.
Yeah, but unfortunately, Israel dominates us, even though they are the smaller country, just because they control our government.
Well, let me ask you, Triton, how does a nation of 9 million people control a nation of 350?
Easy. They're inside every single nook and cranny of government power and basically everything. You don't have to be a lot of people to control more people.
It's insane. Do you know what's
It is.
insane?
Yeah.
You know what's insane? Galaxy Red has hidden himself because he's scared.
I was trying to fix my chair.
As soon as I said it, he comes back.
No, I was trying to fix my chair, and then and then the USB on my name, all the USBs on my computer stopped working for a second. So,
Ooh, that's never good.
Let's go on a more positive note just for a second. Thank you, Cbrew, who says, didn't know I came into the view. No balls here. I don't know who's that for, but
it's because of the fact that I'm going to acknowledge him. He's not going to like the roasting he's going to get because he says that I'm calling my commie handler. Let me tell you something. I know that you think that being on the right means that you get to be part of some sort of fucking purity test, but I'm not on the fucking left and I'm not on the fucking right anymore because of the fact that you motherfuckers want to start this bullshit. All right, this absolute bullshit that nobody can criticize Trump. Trump is not God, all right? I voted for the man 3 fucking times. I get to criticize when I don't like what he does. And if you don't like it, you can suck my fuck. You know what? I'm not even going to say it because we're on YouTube. I would snap on you. I would tell you what I really think of you, but you're lucky we're on freaking YouTube because the way I look at it is I'm not doing the purity test shit, all right? I'm not sitting there simping for the military-industrial complex because your opinions are malleable. And when all of the same people who are now applauding this attack in Iran were saying we shouldn't attack Iran before they got their 7K checks, because if you want to talk about who's bought and paid for, why don't you look in a fucking mirror? Because I drive a Ford Ranger. I don't get a check to tell you what I think. None of these guys get a check to tell you what they think. All right, you at best gave us $2, and I guess you think that means you own my fucking opinion. I'm going to tell you right now, all right, that you talk about attacked over and over by these goat farmers. No, you haven't been, because you'd be in 6 freaking pieces if you did. All right, so why don't you shut the hell up, learn something, and look, take your head out of your own ass. All right.
Thank you for ensuring you never get another donation.
Let's also understand right here, now that let's assume, right? Because we don't know for sure. Let's assume there are ground troops. Let's say the United States, because they haven't destroyed Iran yet, decide, look, we can't come out of this embarrassing ourselves. So we double down, we deploy more people. We have to deploy a lot of people because Iran is not Iraq. It is not a relatively flat country that can be easy to attack.
Yeah, it's a mountain region.
So therefore, we need a lot of people. We need not tens of thousands. We need hundreds of thousands just to invade. And do you think, even under the best case scenario, that the regime collapses? If the regime collapses, what about the civilian population? Do you think they're going to welcome you with open arms?
They're displaced, which means we get to foot the bill in all of the Western countries for the displaced people that in many cases won't get vetted.
The only Iranian citizens are welcoming us are the Afghan refugees.
Yeah. You know who gets the displaced people? The same people that get the displaced people from Syria.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
They're going to come here and they're going to be waving their mobile phones, and there's suspiciously full pockets of American dollars.
If it's controversial to say I don't want to die for Israel, I don't give a shit. I don't want to die for Israel, all right? I care about the gas prices here. I care about the groceries here. I care about the bills here. I don't care about nation building in another fucking country. And if you do, maybe you should go over there and die for Israel.
If this was just a one-off case, you could make the argument, right? If this was just a one-off intervention trying to liberate a group of people, I get that. But this isn't a one-off case. This has been, quite frankly, the norm since the Second World War. From Korea to Vietnam, from Panama to Venezuela, from Afghanistan to Iraq, and from Libya to Syria, even if it didn't lead to direct intervention. We are seeing these instances time and again in the Middle East, in Africa, in East Asia, in Latin America, literally every single corner of the fucking world. Yugoslavia, to use the European perspective, right? Only Antarctica is fucking safe from American intervention because no one lives there.
Hell, they don't even want you intervening in Antarctica.
Well, no, only
the penguins will be obliterated. Once oil is discovered in Antarctica.
The point I am trying to make here is if this Iran war was just a one-off, the narrative of intervention to liberate the people of Iran would make a lot of sense. But this is just the latest conflict in a long line of conflicts since the Second World War. of American intervention, and on almost every single occasion, it has been for naught. We intervened in Korea. Only half of the country was liberated. We intervened in Vietnam. We lost half of fucking Vietnam. We intervened in all these other countries. Where is the net positive?
I want to clarify something, first of all. Look, Iran and the people controlling Iran in terms of like the Ayatollah and shit, those people were pieces of shit. That is true. But it's also true we shouldn't be involved in other people's fucking wars, including Israel. Two things can be true at once, and one of my biggest problems with people on the right is they become just as retarded as people on the left about the whole purity test thing. All right, like you have to agree with everything that one side believes. No, that's bullshit. I get to have my own opinions. I've lived on the earth for 45 fucking years, and for 45 fucking years, Bibi Netanyahu has said that Iran is 5 minutes away from nuclear weapons. All right, so don't miss me with that shit when they say, oh, well, they were about to have a nuke. You know what? They've been saying that for 40 fucking years. They've been saying that for 40 years, and it hasn't happened. All right, and you're still alive, so shut the fuck up. You do whatever you are told, just the same way the left does whatever it's told. And the fact you people can't fucking figure that out is amazing to me. That is phenomenal. Like your brain doesn't work very good. You are guilty of the same mass formation psychosis as the left.
We should have figured this out 20 years ago with Iraq and Afghanistan, because this is not, as I said before, this is not a recent phenomenon, right? Mm-hmm. Very few people alive today remember a time when America didn't go on foreign adventures to every single corner of fucking creation. Because there was a time when America was not a great superpower, when America was its own land that governed its own affairs. And if it did have interventions, it would be to Mexico or down to Cuba. Remember Teddy Roosevelt riding down to Cuba? Its own backyard. Right? Not two continents, and certainly not 6, to reference the point I made earlier. So, Galaxy Red, what's your favorite game at the moment?
I don't care. I'm trying to fucking do something right now. Shut up.
Oh, you must be having technical difficulties. You see, it's always a pain in the ass, folks. But I'll tell you this. Tell you what's another pain in the ass. Millions more people dying in a foreign country. 1 million people were killed in the Iraq War. Not a lot of people realize that. 1 million people in 7 years as a result of foreign intervention. The rise of ISIS as a result of the Iraq, an Islamic state in Iraq and Syria that waged devastation across the entire Middle East. None of that would have happened with no foreign intervention. None of it.
Look, the bad thing about the thing about war in general, and I'm going to just cover everything after World War II. Is that it's used to do exactly what's happening right now. It's used to divide people. I've been only 35 years on this land, and I can tell you, but I'm from a country that we usually don't, not usually, we don't divide ourselves by our political opinions. We hate the government as a whole because the government has not done anything for us, but we're possibly a unique case. The thing is that we don't define ourselves by our political leanings, and we all suffer because of what people above us do without our consent. Nobody asked for this war, by the way. Nobody has any ordinary tax-paying American been asked if they want that war, and if they have, apart from a sociological poll. No, because even if you live in a democracy, you vote for someone on trust that they're going to do the right policies, they're going to do the right thing, and when they're going to do the wrong thing, you are the piece of shit that voted for them. I'm sorry to say that. It doesn't matter who you are. Like you're being looked at by the other side. Let's say if you voted for, let's say Hillary or Trump, whoever, Democrat, Republican, doesn't matter. When your chosen representative is elected, the other side is going to look for every opportunity at a mistake, and they're going to attack the ordinary people that elected them, which is the worst thing, because you vote on trust and on promises. Because if I was with the sole goal of getting elected, like if this was my sole goal, I would promise you the moon. You know, I would promise that I would personally jerk you off on the moon, paid by me, by my expenses, Every single fucking American. And when I don't do it, the people who didn't vote for me are going to attack you for voting for me and for voting me into the office with the popular vote. I'm going to sit on my golden throne and I'm going to jack myself off as I attack other countries. And that's what's been happening with wars. You're attacking each other. Everybody's attacking each other. You voted for them. You voted for these politics. You're radicalized. You trust everything. No, your tax money, whether or not you like it or not, is going to the killings, the murders, the attacks, and radicalization, not only on Iranian people, not only on Saudi Arabian people, but on Israeli people and on everyone, because nothing radicalizes someone than getting their closed one being blown to bits by someone else with a different belief system. That is the best thing. If you're if you're a Jew, if you're from Israel and a bomb falls into your house, kills your family, then that's for sure that even if you're 6 years old, you're never going to forget this. You're going to become the best fucking soldier in the army, and you're going to go to the front lines, and you're going to be very trigger happy. Same thing goes around on the other side. And what happens? You got ultra radicalized military people. You have ultra radicalized people that just want to cause trouble because that's how they pen out their anger. And you have people divided from everywhere, every country, every belief system.
Here's the thing about it. These people have been blowing each other up for 3,000 fucking years. They're gonna blow each other up for the next 3,000 years. It doesn't matter what we do, what kind of regime change we do. The status quo in the Middle East will always be the status quo. You don't say that you're creating a board of peace and then 5 minutes later bomb a country. It doesn't fucking work that way. And anybody who thinks it does is just frankly kind of retarded. All right. And that's the problem when you got people who want to suck Lindsey Graham's balls, because when you have the same political positions as Lindsey Graham, you fucking lost. All right. I don't give a shit if your name is Donald Trump or not. I don't give a shit what you fucking think that you know, because you know what? I've been on the earth for almost 50 years, and we've been trenched in the Middle East for a very long time with no upside to America whatsoever. But you know what? Right now, fucking Taco Bell is $25 for something that was $7 in the 90s. The gas is going up to $4 a freaking gallon in my area, and it's supposed to be low priced. So don't tell me this is good for America, because you don't know shit about what's good for me.
May I just mention something? This comment is really important.
Yeah.
That is not a wrong thing, because fear, especially after 2001, fear is here, is everywhere. This is basically has been the driving force of the West, not only on America. Fear by our country over there developing nuclear weapons, firing them without second thought, causing trouble, causing potential huge repercussions and damages, basically starting war. Like the thing is that you can make a logical argument as to why this is happening. That's the worst thing, that you can make a sound argument as to why this is happening now. You can. That is the scary part. That is the scary part, because if you couldn't, then we could easily go and just say, "Oh, okay, that's bad shit, crazy." No, you can't, because you do have that fear. You do have that. Like, what if they do develop nuclear weapons and decide to blast the whole fucking region?
Not two countries, two words: North Korea. There's fucking peace in the Korean peninsula, and has been for not a single North or South Korean has died in a conflict since 1953, because both sides are fully aware, even before North Korea had nuclear weapons, that North Korea could easily defend itself from an invasion, and vice versa with South Korea. You want to ensure peace in the Middle East? Iran gets a nuclear weapon.
The only time North Koreans die is when they sleep in the meetings of Kim Jong-un.
Yes. I'm not saying North Korea isn't a fucked up country. It is. By all Western standards, it is a fucked up country.
But it's still peaceful. Like, they're not having any wars going on over there.
Exactly. Why aren't we invading North Korea? Because they have nuclear capabilities and have had them since the mid-2000s. Why didn't we invade North Korea in the 1990s when 10% of their population starved to death? Because we knew, right? America knew under Bill Clinton, while he was getting sucked off, and Triton, mute yourself, while he was getting sucked off under the table, that hundreds of thousands of South Koreans and tens of thousands of Americans would have died in a conflict against the North, just like they did during the Korean War. You want peace in the Middle East? Both sides who hate each other should have nuclear capabilities. There'll be nuclear brinkmanship, just like with the United States and the Soviets, just like North Korea and South Korea, and there will be no massive conflict between both powers. Why? Because no side would be crazy enough to use nuclear weapons in an offensive stance. I don't care what the Iranians say. The Iranians have always said, and this is me pretending to be the Ayatollah, the Iranians have always said one thing and done another, because their only concern is regime survival, as I mentioned earlier on in today's show. If you honestly believe the Islamic Republic of Iran would use nuclear weapons offensively, then why haven't the Pakistanis done it to the Indians? Because they know that the Indians would retaliate with nuclear capabilities. So why is it we want to stop Iran having nukes? Because when they have nukes, not if, when, there will be no more conflict. Because we will not dare attack that country. We will not dare attack any country with nuclear capabilities. If Ukraine had kept Soviet nuclear weapons, Russia would never have attacked Ukraine. Okay? So let's face it. We don't attack nuclear-armed nations. We never have and we never will. But we have attacked nations, we in the West, specifically the United States, have attacked nations with nuclear weapons. So who are we to condemn people for not having nuclear weapons when the United States of America is the only nation on planet Earth to use nuclear weapons in an offensive manner?
This is true.
Hundreds of thousands of defenseless Japanese people in the process.
I just want to mention. Let's skip it to this thing and let's let's keep the domestic nuclear fist fights out of the streams, please, guys.
Well, it is a great example, though, Helzo, right? We are condemning Iran, rightfully, because they did say as soon as we acquire nuclear weapons, we will attack Israel. I get that. That should scare the shit out of the Israelis. I also get,
and that's why that's why they attacked them several months ago. That's why, yes. But they did destroy, allegedly. What happened to they destroyed their facilities.
I mean,
which is why it was so bad to just hit them again.
I mean, to be fair, Israel did also threaten to nuke Iran many times. They said if the United States did not help them, that they would nuke Iran themselves.
That's true.
That's why Iran was going to nuke them, because Israel said they would have nuked Iran.
I just want to make it clear, though. The Russians have never used nukes offensively. Neither of the Chinese, neither of the French. And, you know, as much as I don't like the French, they haven't done it either. Neither of the North Koreans. The only nation on God's great earth to use nuclear weapons offensively is the United States of America. Actions speak louder than words.
Well, here's the problem that I see with a lot of this is, again, we're destabilizing a region. We're doing it on behalf. We're not doing it for ourselves. We're doing it on behalf of Israel, because this does not benefit America. Again, disrupting the oil flow, gas prices are going to go up for people who, I don't know, live and work and have shit they got to do in America. That's not a good thing. That's not a good look. You have midterms coming up, and what's going to happen now is that Trump has strategically fucked the Republican Party out of the midterms, because while everybody's all cat turning and going, oh yeah, Iran, we killed the Ayatollah. You know, like, have you ever thought about what the consequences are domestically? Have you ever thought of, you know, again, Trump pulls out of Minnesota with the whole ICE thing, right? And it's because I'm worried about my approval rating. But, you know, look at where war in a foreign country polls approval-wise, all right? And if you're worried about the communists taking over, you may not want to lose the midterm election in 2026. But instead, a lot of people on the right are divided with this Iran thing, and they want purity tests. That's a big problem. It further divides everybody on the right, because if you criticize Israel even slightly, you're a Nazi now to these people, right? That's the same rhetoric the left uses. Wait a minute, right? So
it's also not a good look. It's also not a good look to discredit the only Republicans that are against the Iran war, because all the Republicans are speaking out against the Iran war. Trump has said he's not going to endorse, and he's trying to discredit them. He's calling Marjorie Taylor Greene a traitor, Thomas Massey a traitor. He's calling all these Republicans traitors. So it's like, how can Republicans win in the midterms if you're discrediting all the good Republicans?
It's the same thing the left did to their side to basically make themselves more radical. And so now Trump is anyone who disagrees with me is a traitor. That doesn't make sense.
I do have a source for the Iranians making it clear that they would attack Israel with a nuclear weapon.
Now you're having a country with two radicalized groups.
When he was president, President Ahmadinejad, back in 2006, when he was leaving office, he made it clear in his final address to the Iranian people that as soon as Iran acquired nuclear weapons, they would use it to destroy Israel. Right? That was when he was leaving, because his replacement was a moderate Iranian president. Right? So he was doing that, fan the flames, but he made it clear. Right? This is not something that is hidden under the carpet. The Iranians are very open about their intentions because they are a nation born of blood. They spent the first 10 years of their existence fighting a fucking war. They are quite a warlike nation. The regime is very warlike because that's how it was made. Birds of a feather. Because the same applies to the U.S. It was born in a fiery revolution. Its first decade was that of a conflict. Usually the people most like you hate you. So,
all right, I have a question for everyone. Like, I have a question. How would something like this be resolved? I'm not saying about this war. I'm not saying about how would, because there is one simple truth: humanity as a whole, like me, my country, people in America, people in whole Europe, in Asia, are suffering from this because we are. You're even if they're not being bombed, they're suffering globally. I know what's gonna happen here because I live in the most eastern outer border of the EU before Turkey and before the Middle East. Everything, and I mean migrant fleets passed through my country. I saw it in 2013. I'll be seeing it now because I already see reports that they're swarming the Turkish border with Iran. How would, because we are at the verge of something great. This is like the kettle is boiling for several years. How do you think we can ensure for the future? And I'm not saying political parties. I'm not saying anything. I'm saying humanity from basically doing a Star Trek First Contact situation. Because
go ahead, Chase.
We are one world war away from reverting to the caveman.
I almost feel like with the the Middle East, there's just really no such thing as resolving it, because they are two different religions that are inherently incompatible. They've been incompatible for centuries before we were alive, long after we're gone. And anytime somebody does bring, like, let's say, even 5 minutes of peace to that region, as soon as that person is gone, they go right back to fighting. For example, Trump sort of, managed to get some stability in the region in this first term. And as soon as Trump was gone, as soon as Biden was back in, that whole region destabilized pretty much overnight. Absolutely. Now Trump is back in, and he's more of a warmonger. He's more of a war hawk than he was in his first term. Instead of going to talk to these people, he immediately, bombed Iran. But again, even if, and we saw this with the ceasefire a couple months ago, where Trump was like, I negotiated a ceasefire. And then like 3 days later, they were still shooting missiles at each other. And a lot of it was Israel, because Israel sort of does this thing where it's kind of like this. This is the best way to explain it, right? Do any of you have an older brother?
Yeah.
Any of you? Okay. Yes. You ever punch someone in the face just because you knew your older brother would back you up in a fight? That's Israel. Yeah. Like they will punch somebody because they will then antagonize someone and run behind us. And then we're on the hook.
Here's an easy solution. How about none of the countries in the Middle East have nuclear programs? Israel, Iran, because that would make a lot of peace.
No,
if neither side had nuclear programs, then no one can cry and complain.
Triton. I believe the opposite. right?
Mhm.
I believe the opposite because we have
I
lived.
believe in either one way. It's either they all have nukes or none of them have nukes. That's what I
Well,
believe. It's either all or
that's
nothing.
That's what we call in the content creation game a quick pivot, ladies and gentlemen, because of the fact that we saw this between the United States and the Soviet Union. We see this between North and South Korea, right? Let's face facts. If Israel and Iran both had nuclear capabilities, the fighting would stop right now. In fact, if Iran had nukes, none of this would be happening.
What you're saying is basically mutually assured destruction.
Yes.
Usually keeps people in check. That's why we don't bomb Russia. That's why we don't bomb China, because it's mutually assured destruction. Quite frankly, I think we should expand the dome, but it should be a literal dome, not the Iron Dome, around the entire Middle East and sequester them from the rest of the world. And you know what you guys do inside the dome to each other is not the rest of the world's business. You're not allowed to leave the dome. It's like the Hunger Games. You guys can stay in there, do whatever you want.
All the
I would extend that, Jason. I completely agree with you. Either a dome or a wall. From the Euro mountains that separate Europe from Asia, and just build it like 60 foot and replace. However, I would also expand that to every single fucking country. We need a break. And I'm sorry to say this, but most of the countries need a fucking break from each other, and they need to figure out their internal shit. If everybody just was relying on their local stuff, like their local environment, and just turned inwards into bettering themselves, into bettering their entire country with what they have, and being a little bit smarter about it, and by the way, breeding better children that would want to study how to better the situation in their country without relying on external trading. I think that in a few decades we would emerge in a much better world. Well, some of the countries would probably eat each other alive or eat themselves alive. Some of them would try to bomb them through the wall, things like that. But we need to, every single country needs to fucking mind its own fucking business. Trade relations are good. But trade relations need to be just trade relations. You have coal, I don't have coal. I have potatoes, here we go. We can trade. Everything else, meddling in everyone's business. I don't care if you're America. I don't care if you're Canada. I don't care if you're Israel. I don't care if you're North Korea. You don't have any fucking right saying how anyone should live their life. You don't have the right to say these guys need freedom, these guys need Allah, these guys need I don't know, Vishnu or whatever the fuck they need.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody needs poop festivals. If you need poop festivals, go to your poop festivals. If you need your Chinese Communist Party, if you need your North Korea starvation program for 35 years before you die in a mine,
basically keep your own shit in your own country.
Exactly. That's what we fucking need. Because what just happened in this stream alone is ordinary people bickering. Why? We're all in the same shit pile. None of us is a government elected. None of us is receiving money from a foreign country to pass on laws that would detriment the whole population. None of us is driving a Maybach. None of us is getting fellatiated by world-class actresses, right?
Exactly.
We're ordinary bloke with jobs, and we're sitting here and we're talking about the shit that other people are doing to us.
Exactly. And that's the thing that bothers me the most
that's
about
the
it.
mentality ordinary folk need to have instead of bickering and pleasing the masters from above.
Is how much of this is going to screw up our lives on a local level. That's what people aren't, doing because they're too busy going, team sports. So, I have to agree with everything Trump says, or I have to agree with everything Kamala Harris, Gavin Newsom says. It's not about, it shouldn't be team sports. You should say, you know what? War is bad. People dying is bad. Just straight up. That should be like a non-issue, but everyone's like,
if you want to die, if anyone has the desire, has the drive to go and fucking die or fight, go ahead. Nobody can stop you. Nobody.
Exactly.
Good on you.
Leave the rest of us out of it.
That's why you can freely enlist in the armies. That's why you can freely enlist to go and be a volunteer or something. Go. There are programs for that in almost every country. Go for it. But we shouldn't have the draft again as well. They're already talking about it here, by the way. They're already talking about it in my country.
But
it's just mentions.
you have to have a draft to fight a war against an opponent
Well,
who fights back. Let's
Yeah.
face facts. Here. Let's also face facts, and I want to bring this to a personal note because back when I last talked to Furious Dan some time ago now, he talked about how his daughter was joining the armed forces, and I made a joke about because I like making jokes about the fact that of all the times you encourage someone to join the armed forces, this is probably one of the worst times. And lo and
Exactly.
behold, I hate the fact that I have so much foresight, folks. Right? The one thing I didn't bet on was the fact that we in the West, for the first time in 50 odd years, are deciding to attack and declare war on a country, as I said before, that can fight back. Because the last time we did in Vietnam, it didn't work. Last time we did before that, Korea, didn't work. Last time it actually worked was World War II, and it's a completely different fucking world.
My best friend's brother is stationed in Kosovo right now, and he told him, me and my best friend told him, don't go. Like, don't go, because he volunteered to go, because he volunteered to just go back because he's military and he can go back and whatever. And he went to get this, and Digny's gonna laugh, get away from his mom. Because Hispanic moms, I've told you about Hispanic moms, they're awful. And so he would, what does it say about Hispanic moms? He'd rather go to that than but we told him no, because shit may pop off at any minute. And then this happens, and it's one of those, again, you hate to be right, because that's something that you think about. It's like if something happens, something may happen to him. It's scary. It's a scary thing.
The Balkans is the worst place to be fucking stationed.
No, you really don't. You really don't want to be stationed. Look, in 1999, I think, or 1997, me and my cousin went to a bomb fall site in my country while they were bombing Serbia, Albania, Yugoslavia. We were picking bomb fragments like little children because we were little children, and I almost got expelled because I went into my school with it.
Oh my God!
Yeah, that was normal here.
Well,
just listening to the military planes going above and going to your neighboring country and basically making it cease to exist.
Yeah,
do you know what it is to what it feels like to like be 7 years old and not realize this, and then suddenly you become 12, 13 years old, you become a little bit more acquainted with the world, and your country start to be a little bit more world open, and you realize that foreign governments have basically eradicated a country's existence right next door.
Yugoslavia,
that feeling is terrifying.
And let's face it, folks, right? Because before Afghanistan and Iraq, before 2001 and 2003, the last big American engagement was against Yugoslavia as it was falling to bits. Communism had collapsed. Yugoslavia was one of the last holdouts, but they decided to literally just destroy itself, kind of like Romania on steroids in a sense. And America's response was to back one side against another, supposedly to stop a genocide, rain hell upon the Balkans, and a bit onto Bulgaria, which was just minding its own fucking business. And what is the result?
Our government apparently was supporting it because we were providing airspace.
I've changed my mind about something with the military.
Look, the thing is that currently in this situation, we have provided our airspace, by the way, like our national airport, which is a civilian airport for American bombers to get off. They were here for training, for military training. Then when they announced last Tuesday that the airport is going to be closed for civilian flights and will be open only for military, they tried to spin it that they're going to be cleaning the drainage pipes. And as one of my friends on Facebook actually wrote, well, they cleaned them pipes so good that they actually went up to Iran.
Oh no.
This is fucking because look, we here as Balkans, we hate our governments collectively. collectively. Do you know why? Do you know why we hate our governments collectively, and why my country, for instance, hasn't had a full-term government since 2010?
Oof.
Because we don't like to be bullshitted. We were bullshitted for 500 years by the Ottomans. Then we were bullshitted before that by the Byzantine Empire. Then we were bullshitted by the Russian Federation and the USSR. We don't want to be bullshitted by people in suits. We collectively, we were actually more divided on our football teams, and we go into fist fights over our football team's affiliation than on our political affiliations.
Yeah. You know, it's funny you mentioned that, though, because you mentioned, like, you know, the bullshit from the people in suits, because one of the things that we're seeing with this is, like, Trump goes, oh, it's only like a weekend strike, right? And he says, oh, it's going to be longer than that. It's going to be like 3-4 days, right? And now it went from 3-4 days to, like, it's going to be 4 or 5 weeks, right? So doesn't that remind you guys of something? Anyone remember 2 weeks to flatten the curve? And then it ended up being an entire year of lockdowns? Because that's what it seems like, because the goalpost keeps moving. And that, to me, is scary, because that means that we could be there infinitely.
Well, look at the Iraq War. Great example, right? Right. Mission accomplished. It took 7 years to get the vast majority of American service personnel out of Iraq. And it was done, fair play to him, by the Obama administration. I don't like fucking Obama, but I give credit where credit is due, right? I will also point out right here, right now, when it comes to solving this problem in the long term, unfortunately, and this sounds horrible, an entire generation of people in the West have to die before we can actually live in peace, because the boomer generation, instead of the industrial revolution and its consequences have been a disaster for the human race, let's replace it with the boomer generation and its consequences have been a disaster for the human race. Because let's face it, we are being led by old people talking and young people dying. That's what we are.
Wrong.
That's where we're at. So I'm sorry to say this, because my father is going to be 71 in April. I hope he reaches that. But his generation have to die for any sort of semblance of peace.
You're speaking my language.
To be, and same with Jose and his mother. We both have lived personal experience of boomers ruining our lives.
Oh
Why?
my God.
Because they need our help, and we have to help them out of a sense of familial loyalty, even though over time it causes us to hate each other. Let's face facts, and the same is applied to our nations, right? If we were led by people who are in their 30s and 40s, and most people under the age of 50 are America first and don't want Israel involved in their affairs.
And that's one thing I also have to bring up. Two things. First of all, I've about faced on one of Trump's policies. Maybe he shouldn't have let the Troons out of the military. There's two reasons. One, because they seem to shoot up everything here in the United States. And two, because if they're already in the military and they're willing to go die for Israel, send them over there. Send all of them over there. All right? So there's that. Secondly, and this is where things kind of get, kind of interesting with everything, right? Let's say, for the sake of argument, we put all this boots on the ground and military paraphernalia and personnel on the ground. And then let's say Trump, I don't know, loses the election in 2028, right? We've seen what happens when the parties shift and how they handle withdrawal from a country. If you were to get Gavin Newsom or Kamala Harris actually say they want to withdraw, which they won't, because both sides are the same. They're going to keep perpetual war because it justifies them. But if, let's say they were going to do, we're going to withdraw. How'd that work out for Biden? All you did was give all of that region the weapons that you said that you were trying to prevent them from having by being over there to begin with. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Attack helicopters, high-tech tanks, lots of guns. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what happened with Afghanistan. In fact, it's funny that you say, these people have all these weapons. Well, what happened to all the deadly weapons we left in Afghanistan? Who do you think got those? And that was our fault. We shouldn't have been over there in the first place. And then we left in a disorganized fashion. It's like when you go to a gas station bathroom and somebody's taking a shit all over the toilet seat. That's what happened there.
Let me bash Obama.
I just want to mention the lengths that countries would go to take the mind of people off the Epstein files is very, very huge.
This is true.
Because by the way, I still remember what Pam Bondi said, that the system will collapse if the names are revealed. So she wasn't talking about the American system. She was talking about the system, the global system. Yeah, everything would crash. So imagine if years from now it is discovered that this was all because of that. Because sooner or later, truth comes out. That's a fact. We know that. We have seen that.
You can only lie for so long.
Yeah. Eventually it will come out sooner or later. If that comes out, imagine.
The problem is, Helzo, right? The truth only comes out when everyone involved is either out of power or dead.
Yeah, look at the JFK files. It took like 80, 90 years to come out.
Yeah.
You know?
A long time, yeah.
So we're still a few years away from aliens, even though Trump promised that.
Look, if there were aliens, they would lock their door and pass the Earth after what they've seen.
I refer to one of South Park's episodes of that. We are basically the universe's live TV show. We are basically something on Galactic TLC after midnight.
Oh my God!
With the Milky Way,
if there were aliens, do you think their worlds are just as bad as ours? Where they're all
if they have achieved space flights, and interstellar flight, no. But I do believe that we have there are at least in the Milky Galaxy alone. I'm willing to bet that there are at least 5 or 6 other species that are just as bad as us.
I disagree with that notion, Helzo, because the peak of our space flight was during the 60s, and that was just the civilian wing of our ballistic missiles program. The same systems that got us to the moon were the first systems that were used for ballistic missiles. That you could put nuclear warheads on. If you can put a nuclear warhead on it, you can put a space module that can land on the moon. One of the main reasons,
put a crazy cowboy that's gonna ride it to the moon.
Yeah, and the only reason our space stuff technology really slowed down after the moon landing was because there was no military advantage in sending a nuke to Mars. Let's face it. Let's face facts there, folks.
You know what? The other thing that a lot of people don't want to talk about, and it's the uncomfortable thing about the system, the global order, so to speak, that you just mentioned, Helzo, is that the global order is propped up by war to an extent that war is bad for us because we're just normal people trying to live our lives and pay our bills and get by. But
why can't the aliens help Israel?
Yeah.
There's aliens out there. Why can't they help Israel? Why can't they use their space galactic powers?
Triton, they are the fucking aliens.
That explains the tiny hats. Anyway, so I would say though that the big problem is that war does benefit the military-industrial complex, and it's the stockholders, the stakeholders, those type of people, right? So it's just like when Pam Bondi, when she was asked about the Epstein files, which you just mentioned, she goes, "The S&P is up 50,000 points," or something like that, right? Well, guess what?
Yeah.
Gas prices are going up, so domestically that hurts people all across the board. European gas prices are expected to also rise, probably even more dramatically than American prices. Guess what, though? The stock market's up, guys. The stock market, boys. So it's all about the people who are at the very top, and they don't give a shit about anyone underneath that line. It's not a right or left thing. It's not, even a political thing. It's a class thing, unfortunately. Yep. Unfortunately, a lot of people who will tell you that are usually champagne socialists that have like $3 million, an infinity pool, and a shot collar on their dog. And then tell you that,
That's why communism as a concept will never die. Because they point out the problem very well. It's just their solution is even worse. That's why communism as a concept will just never die, because they're very good at highlighting the problem. They're very bad at providing solutions, but they're also very good at being the change they want to see in their bad solution.
As an aside to you guys, there is a rumor that Kaya passed away.
She's still getting shocked.
Is she? That's been confirmed that she's alive?
I mean, not sadly. Sorry. Even though, if I'm getting shocked day by day, I would consider.
Yeah.
Can we give BB the shock collar? All this goes away if we give BB a shock collar.
end the suffering of that poor dog. I mean, let's face it, folks. When
I
I
would
heard that,
I would
before,
adopt Kaya in the heartbeat. By the way,
Mhm.
I mean this is
when
one
I
thing.
heard that
Weird
before-
life. I'm telling you, if there is a chance to save that dog,
Oh,
I would organize and fucking adopt. her. I
she's a
don't care that I
beautiful
have-
dog. I don't like
She's
the
an
condition
amazing
she's
dog.
in. She's it's terrible that she's in those conditions, in my opinion.
But this is
Yeah.
the Hassan Kaya situation is a perfect example of
Mhm.
how the world works. This
Mhm.
guy could shock his dog to death and nothing will happen to him
Yeah.
because he is either a powerful or an influential person. That is how our world works.
Yeah.
And until an entire generation of people who prop that up perish
Mhm.
one way or another, let's just be real
Mhm.
about that, then it's
Mhm.
never going to change for the
Mhm.
better.
However,
Mhm.
you have one problem with that.
Mhm.
Two problems. First of all, is these people are incredibly long-lived. They live up to 100. And second of all, they will ensure that their reign is a legacy one, and they will have people. They will have people who will inherit this, and because they do have a learning curve, the people that will inherit this most likely would appear as more common folk while fucking you in the back. So basically, you're just gonna get some Vaseline.
That's a good point. I mean, look, we talk about George Soros, right? You'd like to think the world is better after George Soros passes away. But, how old is Alexander Soros? He's like in his 20s, 30s, maybe. And he's exactly as bad as his dad, if not worse. He's worse than he's outright said, I am worse than my father.
I just want to before I continue. Before you continue, sorry, just want to say something about just let you continue. The people that we know are evil, and we talk about are evil, and we know of, are the people that we are allowed to know of. The people above them, nobody knows who they are.
Helzo, I said this the other day. I told Digny this the other day. Is I'm concerned that as we talk about Jeffrey Epstein. Who's the Jeffrey Epstein now? We don't know who he is because that didn't go away. There's somebody new that's there, and there was somebody before him that was there. So there's somebody there. We just don't know who it is. We don't know the identity of this person.
Imagine Jeffrey Epstein got killed in the Iranian strikes.
No, he's still playing Fortnite, Triton. But I will make it very clear. Alexander Soros is the greatest example of a guy who makes Furious Dan look like Albert Einstein. Okay? Right? I am personally of the viewpoint that, and you could call this a conspiracy theory, we're literally at war with aliens. This is how aliens fight their wars. This is how they fight their wars. They have proxies. They have agents, like frontmen. And the new Epstein Jace doesn't have an island. He has an underground bunker where no one can find him or see him. And they are eating cheese pizza and little hot dogs and jerky and all that sort of stuff. And I want to make it clear, the kind of regimes that oppose that are the same kind of regimes that are written as bad guys in history books. That's why after Iran, it'll be Turkey's turn or Cuba's turn. And then the final enemy will be North Korea, right? And then North Korea will press the button and end the world, which is why we're not attacking them. But there will come a time when that happens, and then the world will be destroyed. The aliens will come. They'll make the world better again, and then they'll live in our land.
Yeah, and here's the funny thing. We've said this before. This is sort of the weirdest thing is that Trump has sort of set a new standard where, he just has presidential authority to do these things. So, he's already now deposed Maduro and the Ayatollah, right? But then sort of what goes around comes around. So the rest of the world can now, with all these people who have TDS, if Trump's in a foreign country and somebody that's, head of a European or an Asian country decides they want to nab him, they can now say, I'm well within my right because you set the standard that we can do whatever we want to whoever we want.
Yeah.
And that can take a lot of problems off.
Imagine if the You remember when Trump and Kim Jong Un did that thing on the DMZ when they were shaking
Yes.
hands, man? Imagine doing that today, and they shake hands, and Trump's like, "Come over to this side, Kim," and he's like, "Yeah, good, good," and we have a good time. And then Kim's like, "Well, why don't you come over to our side?" Trump did do that. He did what no other sitting American president did, go into North Korean territory. But instead of being like, "Oh, let's have a hug, bros before hoes," it's like, "You're ours now. We've kidnapped a fucking U.S. president now. Go fuck yourselves." They're not going to retrieve him. They're not going to retrieve him. They're going to let him rot in North Korea because they'll press the fucking button and end the world.
That's the other thing that's sort of the the thing about this is the negotiating or the peace negotiations. Trump with another person who had nukes crossed the DMZ, hugged it out, talked to him, hashed it out. Right? Here's the same situation. Instead, Trump has just decided, let's just blow him up. Let's just blow up and do a 2004 Punisher movie. We're also going to blow up his entire family and like 30 of his best friends. Because we also do have to bring out that he basically killed most of the man's family and most of his inner circle.
Yeah, and it's like, I'd love to do a deal with the United States, but America did a deal with Libya, and look what happened to it. We'll protect you if you don't use nuclear weapons. 10 to 15 years later, the Gaddafi regime is just ripped to shreds. How can I take the United States at its word? That's why the Iranians are like, "No, we don't want a ceasefire. We're not negotiating with you motherfuckers. You say one thing and you do another." Because the capital of the United States is not Washington, D.C., it's Tel Aviv.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
Exactly.
Sad.
So just a little bit of a tangent here because we did have something great. Thank you very much, Rando. By the way, I want to mention again this because I have been missing for a week. Every donation, every super chat membership goes towards the channel and helping homeless animals and animals in shelter. This is what I do. I don't go on political agendas and stuff like that. I'm trying to help fucking animals. And that's my my driving force, as well as just to have YouTube as my main thing. And as I mentioned in the beginning of the stream, I would love nothing more than for all of us to just go back to talking about gaming and not talk about this stuff. But with this stuff happening, if we don't talk about it, and even if we do talk about it, because we're essentially blowing wind at this point, I'm generally concerned that we might not have a world, the same world. And I actually said that to Digny last week, that I don't know what's happening with the show on Rumble last week. I don't know what's happening on our airports, but the time that you are going to host the Tangent Kings on Rumble last Monday, they're closing the airports here.
I honestly thought the war was going to happen last Monday. That's why I did.
Yes, I was also the same. Thing. Hello, puppy.
Hello, dog.
Come here.
And it didn't. Which would have been a great episode. By a week. It got delayed due to weather events. The thing is that the way this is going, one of the incursions and stuff like that is currently happening, even if they're isolated, is going to be the one to spark everything, because we already have several wars brewing in the world. We are in an essential several-way world war, whether you like it, and every country by proxy is helping one side or another, either with military packages, either with sheltering immigrants. Doesn't matter if you're pro-Russia, pro-America, pro-West, pro-East, pro-South. Doesn't matter. I think the only country that is not actively in a war is like New Zealand or something, because New Zealand and Australia had their they had the emu wars and they lost it against a bunch of emus, and they're okay with that.
How do you beat the Japanese but lose to birds?
Which New Zealand, they're not directly in the war, but they still fund Israel, because a few New Zealanders tell me that their government's corrupted too.
You know, a couple of weeks ago, I was having lunch at work, and there were a couple people in there, because there's like an Air Force base not far from where my office is, and what the guy was telling the other guy was very interesting, and I didn't mean to eavesdrop, but they were talking loud enough that you could just hear it. And he says it doesn't matter who the president is. It doesn't matter if it's Trump or Biden. Every president that's been in there, and he says Trump's first term, Biden's term, Trump's second term, and even the Bushes and the Obamas before them, the military budget always goes one direction, which is up. It never goes down. It's never any less. It's just up, 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 because they always will fund whatever the military excursions are going to do. It doesn't matter. And even when they act like they're not going to have it, they still up the budget for the military, up the spending for the military, up the budget for the military. And that's because basically that means that we are in a world where they just expect there to be, we look at war, like with Iran, with the situation, we say, this is bad that this happened. They look at it as like it's like a normal day at the office. We're just always at war. They've normalized it to their class of people. To the political class, war is just another day at the office. It's no sweat off my neck. It doesn't matter what happens to everyone else involved.
Yeah, and the last time, folks, the American defense budget went down was during the Carter administration in the late 70s. And what caused that to turn around? The Iranian Revolution and the hostage crisis. Ever since, budget's gone one way, and that's up. Quite frankly, the Soviets had a similar mindset. It bankrupted their country. And it's only a matter of time before the United States goes bankrupt. And then you have a global depression. There's a reason the Russians, the Chinese, the Indians, the South Africans, the Brazilians are like, we've got to build our own system away from the US dollar because they know America's going to go bankrupt and it's going to take the world economy with it. That's why that's why the Russians, have been so hostile from an economic perspective. That's why they wanted the sanctions, to isolate their economy from a worldwide depression, which will come as a result of America bankrupting itself the same way the Soviet Union did through excessive military spending.
Exactly. And by the way, the other thing is that, we thought we were like doing the cancel culture on the entirety of Russia. We've only made them stronger in the process because they've had to up their manufacturing and everything else. Not to mention that Russia basically legalized piracy of everything they weren't getting. So you know what? Like, we're not going to allow Netflix in Russia. Yeah, what do you think is going to happen? You think they care about that? They'll just steal your Netflix.
This is why, folks, right? Sanctioning a country only encourages that country to try and become self-sufficient, even if most of their people are starving. Okay, North Korea, for example. Okay, right? In North Korea, they eat the cat and turn its skin into fertilizer. Okay, no pets in North Korea. But the point I'm trying to make is, folks, quite frankly, if this was an isolated incident, I'd be like, let's save the people of Iran. But this is just one in a long list. And until we get a bloody nose, until the Western world gets a fucking bloody nose to be like, if you do this again, you're going to get a bloody nose. It's going to keep on doing it. And what is that like? That's like a bully. So if Iran falls, they go after Turkey. If Turkey falls, they go after Cuba. If Cuba falls, they go after North Korea. I know the North Koreans are going to give them a bloody fucking nose, but it might end the fucking world in doing it. Let's face it.
Oh, boy.
This will only end when America, principally America, gets a bloody nose and gets humiliated.
Well, here's the problem with that. I just sent you guys the link in chat because I don't know if the any audio comes up on this. Breaking news. France is ready to participate in defending the free world against the Iranian regime.
Let's see.
Au pays ennemi. C'est ciblé délibérément.
I guess it doesn't have subtitles. I guess it's all in French.
It's
but
I don't know.
We have just announced that we are going to surrender, which is what we are good at.
Oh no!
The Republic of France officially
I am sorry about that.
To the Iranians because we are shit.
But here's the thing, like I told you before, this is where it begins now. Where these countries that don't really have this luxury to say that without, domestic attacks ramping up because of all of the record immigration, he says that, and how long before someone in his country who's there that's not supposed to be, looks at that and decides they're going to go, run a bomb, a homemade bomb into a group of into a school ground. That's what happens. So now, it's sort of like, other people are going to try to dogpile or virtue signal. It's the same type of virtue signaling, and it's going to cause more problems than it's going to solve.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you look at us again, Iraq and Afghanistan, the amount of terrorism that inspired. Those invasions inspired an entirely new generation of Islamic terrorists. I mean, the chief of operations of Al Qaeda was a guy my age in 2001, 2002, someone who was 25, 26 years old. They couldn't, the American authorities, Secret Service, couldn't fucking believe it. They're practically kids.
Because the way
because
that
they're radicalized on an early age.
Yes, that's exactly what I was going to say. From youth, they are told that this is the way it is, and they're glorified that if you die for the cause, you are a martyr. You will go to their version of heaven, have 72 virgins or whatever it is. Like it's they teach them there's no greater glory than to die for your religion, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so that's a terrible thing because with that, those people see that they are just released from this world. And let's be honest, we just talk about how shit the world can be sometimes because of the way that things have changed, right? So if you're one of these guys and the world is shit and there's nothing really for you, you're just like, oh, I'll just blow myself up and I'll get everything. I'll get everything that I'm promised.
Exactly, especially if you live in a place where even water is optional.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
It's a sad state of affairs, folks. We in the West are not going to make it any better by carpet bombing populations, right? Let's face it. Iran as a nation cannot really attack the United States of America. Okay, North Korea can. North Korea has the technology to nuke a Californian city, but they don't do it. Why don't they do it? Because they want to just defend themselves. As fucked up as their country is, and it really is, folks, okay? They just want what they want for their own people, their own regime.
And by the way, okay, if they want to be like that, if their own people are not going to rise up and just burn the whole fucking country to the ground because they're being mistreated, that's their thing. Who are we? Who are other countries to say that if they're not bothering anyone else, I don't fucking care what happens. This is the same. This is the same as having kinks and what you do in your bedroom, man.
Yeah.
Do whatever the fuck you want. Just don't make life harder for everyone else. If you do, and if you actively do, then we're gonna have a talk. But if you're just keeping to yourself, everybody else should keep to themselves. That's something that we have forgotten as humanity. And by the way, I don't. Yeah, I think. This is the comment.
Yeah, no,
I am willing to believe this, and I'm willing to believe that we are not very far away from a complete dismantling on our ways of life. And that's the worst thing, because we're the ones who are gonna suffer the most of it. We folks, regular folks in every country.
Well, here's an example for you. When you mentioned, like, we shouldn't be involved if they don't want to free themselves, right? Think about if you went to the zoo right now, and this was also made by a very good book and a movie, the book Ishmael, which is actually a really good read if you've ever read it. If you go to a zoo, right, and let's say there's an ape that's been in captivity its entire life. It was born in captivity, it's been raised in captivity, and you open the cage door. That ape will not leave that cage because captivity is all it knows and all it cares about. So you risked yourself. You broke through security, you broke protocol, you jumped the gate to open it to free this ape. Well, you're on the hook for all the bullshit that's going to happen. You're going to jail. You're catching charge a lot. You think that ape cares that you opened the door? No, because it was up to the ape to decide it wanted to be free, and it decided not to.
Yep.
So you cannot impose your will. It doesn't matter what will that is. You can say, oh well, because we're a free nation, we're going to make you a free nation. It doesn't really work that way. In theory, it works that way, but in practice, it does not work that way. If people do not rise up themselves, you cannot. It's to lead the horse to water. You can't make it drink analogy, basically.
Exactly. Exactly. That's why to use North Korea as an example, knowing the West, we liberate North Korea, we reunify Korea, and the South Koreans were like, we don't fucking want them. Did you see how difficult it was for Germany to reunify? And East Germany was a second world country. North Korea can't even feed all of its own people. And you want us to clean up the mess, basically. Our economy will tank. Our society will be crippled. I mean, decoupling the demilitarized zone will be a fucking mammoth challenge, right? You cannot. It's ultimately it is up to the people to decide their own fate, right? Ultimately, and if you say you can say that's bullshit if you want, okay, that's bullshit. You go fight and die against the Iranians, and we'll bring you back a body bag and give you the highest military honor for dying in a hopeless battle.
Funny you mentioned that, because there was in my old hometown in the Bronx, there were two stationaries and they were across the street from each other. There's a big road and there's two stationaries directly across the street from each other. One was owned by a North Korean, one was owned by a South Korean, and these people hated each other to like the most utmost degree possible. They just wanted to just basically destroy the other business. Here's the thing: you're both in America now, so why are you even worried about the old grudge? Old grudges do not die just because of the fact you get brought into a capitalist society. And when you have North Koreans and South Koreans, they still hate each other anywhere else in the fucking world they go.
I mean, I'm sorry, but this is what I'm gonna say is very controversial. You still have people who want reparations and who shout racism in America, but they're still in America. They don't don't go to the motherland.
No, of course not.
I mean,
and some of them are millionaires, and they're still screaming about this. They're making millions,
and they'll beat a disabled man to death because he has Tourette's. That was one of our other topics, folks. But this is the main topic of the day, which is why it warranted the entire show. One thing's for certain: even under the best case scenario, a lot of people are going to die. 8 Americans have already died. 8 American military personnel. More are going to die. More Iranians are going to die. More Israelis are going to die. More people are going to die, right? To try and destroy a regime that isn't going anywhere and will not fall. This isn't Iraq. This isn't Afghanistan. This is a regime that's been in power for 50 years and shows no sign of going.
Yeah, and you're just gonna radicalize kids.
Exactly.
Another generation of kids that are gonna breed like crazy, and they're gonna teach their kids that the enemy is the West, and and everybody except they themselves are good people.
All because the orange man wants to play whack an Ayatollah. Well, it doesn't matter how many Ayatollahs you whack. Whack 90 million Ayatollahs and you'll be the next fucking Stalin or Mao, okay? That'll be your legacy, orange man, having a bigger kill count than Stalin, Mao, and fucking Hitler combined. And then we'll say that communism is less murderous than capitalism then. Be like Charlemagne, take over all of Iran and kill everyone in doing so.
Oh, they're already doing that with the puff pieces in the media about how the guy was it's the austere religious scholar thing all over again. So they're not gonna say that this was a bad guy. Like I said, dude was a bad guy. Yes. Did he deserve what he got? Probably. But was it our business to mete out justice? No.
I just want to share something, and I want every single one of your opinion because I just saw that. What do you think about that statement? What do you think? I want I want all of his opinion.
Yeah, here's my opinion. Fuck off.
Is that the same shit from Peacemaker? Remember, what is it? I want peace, but I don't care how many people I have to kill to get it. Like in Peacemaker, that's that same sort of thing.
This is 1984 levels of shit. War is peace, freedom is slavery, and what was the other one? I forgot the other one. Right. That's what America is fulfilling our destiny as peacemaker, but it is peace through strength.
Look at the first post respond to that too.
Yeah, send
is true.
Darren. Yeah.
Brighton, what do you think about this?
It's bullshit. It is literally the opposite. You do not make peace by annihilating people.
Yeah, I just want to hear also Triton's opinion because this is a very interesting thing.
Mhm.
Triton.
No, he's murdering his family members.
Okay, so we'll let him be.
Oh no, BB
to-
got him. He's dragging him to the
To
wall.
me,
That
this
too.
look. There are several ways this.
I'm
can be
here.
interpreted. Triton, yay! What do you think about what you see on the screen?
I feel like it's bullshit because what peace is happening in the world right now? We're literally in war with Iran.
Yeah, So there are
Trump
several
likes to
things that
say
you-
he's the peace candidate, but that's just a part of the MAGA grift. That's why I voted for Trump because I thought he was the peace candidate. But turns out, nope. Actions speak louder than words, Donnie.
Yeah.
So there are several ways that you can interpret that. Peace through strength also reinforces that America has been acting as the world's cop for decades now. And peace through strength means that they would go and ensure that nobody threatens the global peace. So that's one of the way. However, that's not what he's showing, like with this war. The thing is that America peace through strength also means that everybody is going to follow our peaceful ways by force. So if you don't agree with the version of peace that said nation is presenting, you're gonna get a full-on lesson in democracy and freedom. That's what I'm getting from this. I'm getting two things from this because, yeah.
Here's
Ultimately-
something from the 80s Transformers. I want you to see the motto in the upper right corner. Megatron's tagline on the toy. Peace
Ultimate
through
peace.
tyranny.
Tyranny.
Ultimate peace when nobody can say anything because it's going to be peaceful because nobody will be able to say anything and whoever does gets disappeared. This is basically ultimate communism. There is no problem if there's no one to cause problem. If there's a person, there is a problem. If there's not the person, there is not a problem.
Yeah, and I have to mention this also because this is really important that a lot of people don't understand, right? Earlier at the start of the show, I mentioned the Laura Loomer, sort of joke, and it was a joke, but there is a grain of truth to that, which is that people who are on the side of this bombing of Iran are saying if you criticize that, your speech should be shut down, and you now have people on the right who are calling for deplatforming of people like Candace Owens. I don't agree with Candace. I think Candace is insane on most things, but they want her deplatformed now. They want Fuentes deplatformed now. They want Tucker Carlson deplatformed now. They want the Hodge twins deplatformed now. And it's like, wait a minute. So you just can't have a difference of opinion on this. You have to call these people one side or the other.
The right-wing cancel culture. Good. So you have so they have become who they fought against. This was basically when Trump won. And in gaming, we had that split with ultra right-wing conservatives in gaming that gaming should be mandated by them, and then no sexy women and stuff like that. The woke, right? And whereas before that, everybody was united against the woke agenda. This is the same thing. And again, this is ordinary people divided because nothing is worse than a united populace. Nothing is worse for the elite.
Elzo, here's a fun fact for you. The people who came up with the term woke right have now come up with a new term for it. Goyim right.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically the Goyim right are the anti-Israel far right. Right? So actual right wingers. So if you apply that to the gaming space, everyone who wants Gooner bait or doesn't want Gooner bait in their franchises is Goyim right now.
Yeah.
So basically, folks, Hypno and Smash. Well, Smash is pro-Israel. He has a Jewish lawyer. They all love the Jews now. All of them. It all makes sense.
Everybody
now.
wants to. Everybody ultimately, apparently, wants to enforce their version of reality that they're going to be comfortable with. Doesn't matter if you're woke left, woke right, or you're anything. Doesn't matter if you're on any side. If you want to enforce your version of anything to the rest of the world, the rest of your group, sorry, no, you're not someone that should be held in any regard, because the thing that everybody needs, not wants, needs, is the freedom to make it into the real world. Because there's a secret to everyone who actually supports stuff like that. Nature doesn't give a shit about politics. Nature is ultimately going to take a soul. And when you don't have a civilization, and when you're living in crumbled buildings like Fist of the North Star style or Mad Max style, sandstorm rising 160 kilometers into the fucking space will desolate the entire planet. Nobody is going to ask you, who did you vote for?
What kind of American are you with the red glasses?
Exactly.
No, but
Nature doesn't ask these questions.
You know, Halzo, here's the thing people don't get, and this is my thing about it. Whatever happened to just simply, like, I don't agree. Like for example, like the Hodge twins are like anti-war, and then there's people who are maybe pro the Iran thing. Why can't they just be like, we don't agree? And that was sort of why I blew up earlier, because like, why can't we just not agree? Because we have 4 people on this panel who are very, have very different perspectives on this, but we can have a conversation. But other people immediately, you say one thing that they don't like, and suddenly, oh, you're Whoopi Goldberg from The View. Like, that's sort of my issue, like, about this. You can no longer just disagree with you have to take all of it or none of it. And, these are people who look at the world in this team sports sort of way. It's not that. The world is a lot more complicated, a lot more complex than that. The views of individuals are more complex than that. You can't just say, oh, because you voted for Trump 3 times that you have to agree with the bombing in Iran. I don't. You know what I'm saying?
Do you guys know where this isn't a problem? Rumble. Because on Rumble, everyone's on the same side because we're all outcasts and exiles, and we've all been kicked out by the mainstream. But the Rumble revolution is on the way, folks. And how is it a revolution against Rumble? It is literally, we hate Rumble, and we're going to keep hating it, and that will make it better. Just like in pop culture, we hate Hollywood, and by hating it, we make it better.
Oh boy,
quite. It's the same logic. Boy. Okay, Chris Pavlovsky, suck my Ayatollah cock.
No, that's made worse by the fact he's Jewish, by the way.
I know. Suck on his halal shawarma.
Oh boy.
Answer you, Jace. Probably one of my, if not my best friend, is someone who votes in my country, which is basically the divide. The only political. If you vote or you don't. I don't vote. Yeah. I haven't voted. We have had a lot of arguments about this. Like his point of view, we have shake our hands, drank our beers, and decided we're just not gonna talk about that.
Absolutely.
That is that. If this can be taught to the world, we would live in heaven on earth. This would be heaven on earth.
Bring up Yasto's latest comment. Helzo, because it's a great point. No, not that one. The one about twisted logic. Right? You say that's twisted logic, Yasto. That is the basis for all the pop culture content creators condemning Hollywood and the gaming sphere. They highlight the problem. They highlight how bad everything is, to the point where that same system then reacts to that to make it better. The same can be applied to the political realm, right? This is why they're terrified of Nick Fuentes, because if he convinces enough people to not vote, they have to grand old party, demon rats are fucking everywhere.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like Kelso just said, when I was in my 20s, like, we used to have these big parties with all my friends, and to be like people who are like of all different religions, all different races, all different political spheres. And we talk, we drink beers, we chill, we play video games, we play like GoldenEye or whatever. And, we disagree. We were like night and day different from each other on a lot of things, but we were all friends. We were all friends at the end of the day. We were all friends there. And now we've created, society has created, especially through the media, through the apparatus, through everything that's going on social media and everything else, an apparatus where basically everyone is expected to be one of two sides. Everybody is expected to be a Coke or Pepsi type of situation. And the world is not that. What if you want to drink Sprite kind of thing? It's not the way that the world works.
No, nobody tolerates a deviant.
Yeah, no two people are the same. Everyone's gonna have a line on a topic. Look at J.K. Rowling, who we've talked about. Look, she agrees with the left on everything except the issue of the trans situation, and they kicked her out. They kicked her out.
Yep.
Even though she agrees with them on everything else.
Because she's divergent in one thing.
Mhm.
Before we head off to the end of the show, I want to show you this because I just find it funny. Drama just posted, you can now experience a nuclear bomb explosion in virtual. I want to do this because apparently, look, if this doesn't nuke the channel,
oh no!
If this doesn't nuke the channel, we're the luckiest motherfuckers alive. Let's just do a proper send off.
Oh
if
boy!
a literal nuke can't nuke the channel, what can?
Oh boy!
You'll see. Let's see. Oh, this is, by the way, a lovely beach. I would love to go on a beach.
Oh, this is a great. This beach is in Gaza.
Isn't this the end of Planet of the Apes where they find like the Statue of Liberty in the sand? You maniacs! You blew it up!
Oh yeah, there it is. The sun rose from the north.
Oh no! Oh my God!
Yeah. Stick out your thumb, boys. Stick out your thumb. You may be safe. You may be safe.
Oh, finally.
Check it out. Check it out. Oh, that's a suntan. That's a suntan. Like this is the quickest bronze body you can get for all the ladies in hell.
Oh boy.
So this is what it's like when you live on Venus.
Basically, yes. This is amazing.
Fallout 5's graphics are pretty lit, man. I'm not gonna lie.
I was gonna say this is GTA 6.
Yeah,
or at least what's gonna happen to your graphics card when you run it.
Just to let everyone know, in this event, you would be blind. Your skin would be melting off right now. You would be, if you're not dead already, you will be dying in agony.
Yeah.
And
so would be Sarah Connor in Terminator 2.
So you will be Mitch McConnell right now, this minute, as he's wheeled around the halls of Congress.
Oh, this is amazing. Yeah. If you're still alive, but look, apparently the one who's wearing the glasses is a god. Because nothing is alive afterwards.
Yeah. After that, the radiation will kill you. I mean, it would be an agonizing death.
You won't get to the radiation. Like the blast wave is just going to disintegrate you.
Yeah,
it's amazing. It's beautiful, by the way.
In a nuclear war, the survivors will wish they had died in the blasts.
Yeah.
You know what? That makes me want to go load up Fallout 3 and bomb Megaton again.
This is why mutually assured destruction works. And if Israel and Iran had nuclear weapons, there would be no conflict between those two countries. Quite frankly. And I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. We are heading towards the end of the show, and before we follow to our future plans, I just want to say something to everyone. We are all ordinary folks. We're people who have jobs, who have families, who have loved ones, and who most likely, I hope that none of you wants to see everything that you're trying to build just become meaningless because someone else decided that this is going to be a good time to end the world. Keep close, be rational, be ready, and most of all, don't petty beef with people. Don't let people who don't care about you get you out of your head and get you riled up. And I'm talking about like me included, because I have been riled up so many times in the last week with the whole shit that I'm embarrassed to even admit it. The only thing that matters is who we have beside us, who we talk to, and what's going to happen. And we can do this, but we need to just be what humanity can be, because the people that govern us are not what humanity can be. They're what humanity shouldn't be. That's it. That's all I had to say.
I agree. Again, we're at the mercy of people who don't care whether we live or die. We are expendable to them, and we need to remember that. Like I just told you guys, my friend is over there, stationed close by that. You think they care whether or not he comes home in a body bag or not? Absolutely not. To them, we are all just pawns in their game.
And numbers.
Well, he's in Kosovo, so how he's not dead already is a goddamn miracle.
Oh,
Jesus.
he's dead on the inside. You know? Do you know what it's like to be in a place where everything is monochrome? And
Oh
you
my
don't even
God.
see like even the trees are gray. Even
That's
the
what I
leaves are gray.
pictured. That's what I
Like
pictured
watching
there.
this, like watching a 1950s movie every time.
Imagine Serbia and Albania wanting you. That's Kosovo.
Oh no.
It's like, do I want my granddad to beat the shit out of me or my crazy ex-wife?
Oh God.
And they both look
You
exactly
know why it's
like
funny, Jace? Because it's true.
I know. That's sad.
So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very much for watching today's special. This might as well be a special episode of Another Endless War. The more things change, the more they stay the same. Future plans.
Mhm.
Great segue. My future plans are I'm keeping this get up for as long as the Islamic Republic of Iran lasts.
Then they give him a
And,
gown.
And then the longer it exists, the more I can just say to Americans that I collaborate with, nice war you're fighting. I thought it was supposed to be over by now. And then like,
It's like a Russia's
Hey.
3-day war.
Oh,
come on,
God.
guys. I thought you were going to destroy Iran, but no. In all seriousness, folks, we hoped for a quick end to the conflict with as minimal loss of life as possible. My future plans are, of course, more videos, more shows, more videos from said shows. Tomorrow's episode of Cancel This Podcast is going to be very interesting, where Ayatollah Digny will make his second appearance, and
Oh, boy.
I wonder how John will react to that because he has a Jewish wife and a pseudo-Jewish kid.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
So there you
Fun
go.
fact, did you know they shut we were talking about the song at the beginning, and if you play it in full, it's kind of bad for YouTube.
Yeah.
They actually, when they hacked John's account last year, the hackers put up an ISIS, I guess, flag with like the people, and that immediately gets your account deactivated on Facebook. And hackers tend to do that to destroy the evidence that they hacked your account. That is the thing that they do on Facebook, because the AI automatically will shut the account down at that point.
They didn't do that for turning his channel into an Indian one because it would have exploded on YouTube. Sorry, on Facebook and on YouTube. So those are my future plans, folks. Get used to Ayatollah Digny, because Ayatollah Digny is sticking around for as long as Iran exists, and it could be for a very long time.
Oh boy.
Oh, I'd love to meet a Jewish creator as Ayatollah Digny. It's like, hey, Jew, you're not beating us as much as you think you could, eh?
Well, we're never getting that Daily Wire Plus crossover.
And then I play the song, Boom, Boom, Tel Aviv, this is what you get for all your evil deeds. Yeah, I wanted to play that song, but it might have gotten flagged by YouTube. That's why I waited until the end to say that. Instead, I used a sheer war battle song in their language, so the algorithm didn't detect it. So what about you, Jace? What are your future plans?
Well, one, I wish that the Middle East were as peaceful as it was during the movie Aladdin, but it's not. So there's that. But two, I'll be gaming a little bit later. I'm going to be playing Pokemon Fire Red just to stick it to Nintendo, because I will be emulating it, not giving Nintendo $20 or $30 or whatever they're asking for it on Switch. So out of spite, I've decided to do that. Tomorrow, I won't be around at all. I'll be with my girlfriend if I'm not dead from whatever this cold is that I'm trying to recover from, or dead because of the fact that the war escalated and we just all got blown the hell up. So yeah, I mean, I'm just hoping that we survive. I'm hoping not to for Israel, and if I don't die from Israel physically, I might die for Israel economically in this type of environment. I know that some of my posts are a little controversial, but I just want to say, if you want to shut me up, it takes $7,000. $7,000, I'll delete my posts that are critical of Israel. Aside from that, I'm going to keep going.
Yep. Yeah, and remember to cover up your woman when she goes into public places, okay? Because when
Oh, boy.
Iran wins World War III, all women will have to be covered up. How about you, Triton? What are your future plans? You
My
changed your
future
name.
plans is I found my own regime called the Surname regime. We're basically going to be spreading the word of Jesus Christ and criticizing Israel.
There we go.
Excellent.
No.
By the way, the only Ayatollah we recognize in this house is the Ayatollah of rock and roll, Chris Jericho.
And
Yeah.
Hyde Altola.
Oh man, now I want to listen to his band. By the way, I'm going to listen to him tomorrow.
I'm sorry to tell you, folks, but Chris Jericho's in AEW, so his career's already blown up.
Damn.
Ouch.
Damn.
Okay. Oh, WWE debuted Dashhausen, and everyone
And other
fucking
future plans I'll
booed
be
him.
streaming later on and playing some games, probably playing Street of Rage 4.
Good. Good.
Nice.
And Triton, it's March, so take your Christmas hat fucking off. Okay? It's March.
I'm
This is
too
literally
lazy.
Well, yeah, of course, you're so lazy. That's why Israel runs your country.
Although
How about you,
in
Elmo?
Bulgaria, he will be in town because it's basically Grandma March.
Well, soon
and-
Israel won't be running the country. Soon it will be the Surname.
Oh,
Everybody's power grabbing.
Power grab that
Is it
bitch
my
by the
turn?
pussy.
Yeah, of course it's my turn. Is it my turn?
Go ahead.
I don't know.
Yes.
My future plans is to survive. I have a bomb shelter 5 meters away from me.
lucky
Other than no, because it's non-functional, I think. But we'll make it functional. Other than that, I'm very deep into game development courses because this is what I want to do. Been studying Unity and been battling visual scripting now because standard code is not for me. No, it's not. I'm doing the visual scripting route, and we'll see if I learn code that way. But yeah, I aim, by the way, and this might be a bold statement, but I aim to have at least a workable, playable demo version of what I have envisioned for a game by the end of the year. And we'll see. It's going great. Other than that, content, videos, streaming, animal donation stream is going to be this week. I don't know if it's going to be during the week or during the weekend, but it's going to be a very special stream that I'm going to play a specific game, play some music, and of course try to gather some more money for the animals. And of course, give away money for the animals. Different shelters, both local and international, as every month.
All righty then, folks. Well, thank you all very much for watching this special episode of Discuss Things Tangent Kings. Next week, we're going to have a good show where we talk about more topics of the day, like Black America condemning disabled people and wanting to control them. Okay?
Oh, man.
And we'll also talk about Jim Carrey's face swap and all that sort of stuff, as well as any other.
And hopefully we'll have some actual gaming news by then.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah,
we got some, but I guess I'll have to send that to you guys in the chat here. We've got some good stuff.
News that's going on.
Yeah,
And-
so next week we're gonna try to do it a little bit more normal and pop culture, and not try to
And we will
talk about the
and
end
we
of the
will
world.
And we will celebrate Iran's inevitable victory against the great Satan of America.
Imagine the video games if that happens. Like imagine halal simulator.
Oh damn!
Oh boy. I would say we need a fighting game with all the world leaders, like
Oh yeah,
mockeries of them,
yeah.
like Trump, Netanyahu, Carney, all of them, just beating the
Yeah,
crap out of each other.
we'll definitely need to. By the way, what you just wrote in the chat, this is something that's going to be updated because this is something that's going to continue to come out as updates. So we might just have some actual nice news.
Yeah. Hopefully.
All right.
Hopefully.
This
Well,
is
There
until
we go.
next time- Well,
We've got
until
some good
next
stuff.
time, ladies and
Mile and
gentlemen,
wave, boys.
bye for now.